Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It is Tuesday night and we're going to create some art. It's going to be awesome. Kind of looking forward to getting back to doing some coffee paintings. It's been a little while since I've done one. And I was thinking like what kind of wildlife pictures I could do in coffee. And the one that came to mind is everybody really liked my owl pictures. So I wanted to do like another bird. Just to kind of round out my bird collection, essentially, because I haven't done a lot of birds, and in fact I think the owl and maybe like a an eagle is the only ones I've done. So doing a falcon, getting into doing like different kinds of birds, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. That's just me. Anyway, I've never done one before, so I think this will be interesting. I'm just going to hop in and get to it. I see there's some people in the chat tonight already, and I'll give them a shout out. We got Kid in the room. We've got Because I Can, otherwise known as BIC. We've got OK Larry in the room, and we've got Tom, and we've got Cabin. So that's enough for a party, especially on a Tuesday. You know, what can you expect on a Tuesday? So how you guys doing? You guys doing good? Hopefully you guys were able to see at least part of the eclipse. Yesterday. It was so cool for me. I was really excited. I shared some of the video. Oh, and Mama Q's in the house too. Cool. Like, oh crap, Jeremy's here. So you guys know how these coffee paintings work. I get started by just dropping like a lot of coffee on the canvas or paper in this case, just so that we can get that drip effect, which I always liked. Oh, because Kid, I wanted to mention that I do have your raccoon done, and I'm going to send that out to you. I kept forgetting to finish that up, so I finally finished that up. I'll be posting a short of it tomorrow, maybe, or maybe if this falcon turns out really nice, I'll post a picture of it instead. But anyway, I did finish that raccoon from the other, actually like 2 weeks ago. It's been a while. Man, I'm slacking. But yeah, so the eclipse was awesome. I posted a short video of it on here. Like, I didn't really like add a bunch of keywords or create a thumbnail for it or anything like that. I figured it's just for you guys, the subscribers who actually, are interested in what I'm up to for fun. All right, so we got the splotches of paint down. We're gonna create like a little bit of a gravity effect. I like those drips. See if we can get another one. Oh, that one went kind of weird. All right, so that's pretty cool. I like that. This one here will probably like redirect with a little bit of additional coffee. But yeah, I think that's a good start. Oh, you have two peregrine falcons that live in a pine tree in our backyard. Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. Tom says, I've got beer in my room. It counts. Nice. The only thing bad is that the falcons prey on our songbirds. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Um, I don't know exactly what kind of falcon this is. I'm not that up to speed on falcon lore. But it's a pretty cool looking one. Then I'm working I got a reference picture off of Unsplash for a falcon. I think this one's gonna look nice. We have we have a nice little bird feeder in the front yard that I get to watch through the windows sometimes, and there are some big blackbirds that come in and like try to scare away all the little birds. So I kind of know what you mean about the big birds being kind of bullies. But those little birds are so cute. I've got a couple of cardinals that show up. I don't know if like cardinals are big birds. Well, not big, but like populous birds in your neck of the woods. But around here, we've got like a lot of cardinals, and they're kind of cool. And I thought I saw like a new species. I couldn't figure out what it was. It was kind of red like a cardinal, but it didn't have the facial markings. And it turned out, I think it's just a bald cardinal. Like it looks like something had bitten its like the scalp off or something like that. It's very weird. I'm gonna try to get a picture of it sometime because like it's such an odd looking bird. But I thought it was a totally different species. But the more I looked at it, I realized nope, just something got to it. That's all. Falcon and the Snowman. Hey, MJ's in the house. Cool. How's it going? Tom says the video of the eclipse was great. Thanks for sharing. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I didn't know if you guys would be interested in it. It's just a short video. I have a bunch of pictures I took. Maybe I'll post those as well. But I took a telescope with me and had it zoomed in on the whole, like, the partial phases of it, like little bits here and there. That was pretty cool. I don't know. This is like the second total eclipse I've been through, but this is the first total eclipse that I've seen. Like I've seen close to like might as well have been total in terms of like how much of a partial I've been through. But this is the first time I've seen it in the totality where you see the whole ring and everything. It was just amazing. I drove like 3 hours to go and see it. And I'm glad I did too, because around here, apparently it was all like cloudy and stuff like that. So you wouldn't have been able to see it around here anyway. We've just had like tons of rain over the last couple of days. So wouldn't have been able to see it if I'd stuck around here. So I'm glad I took that 3 hour trip. I'm just saying, it says, what's the subject tonight? We are painting a falcon to add to our wildlife collection. Everybody seems to love those owls that I painted. Yeah, Kevin's in the room. Kevin is the actual, well, I think he gifted it to somebody, but the owl was a big hit, and people like the owl on the bourbon bottles that I did. So I think it's time to try another bird. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to look cool. MJ says, enjoyed your video. Thank you. Pretty cool. Yep. Oh, and I'm you can't see it, it's off screen, but I'm drinking a poor man's martini tonight, which is where you just put gin in the cup and not even bother shaking or stirring. You just throw the ingredients together. And there's a lot of olives in there, way more olives than I really should. All right, I'm gonna move this guy over here for a moment, even though he's like throwing his hands up for no reason over on that side. But I wanted to kind of get in here. So on this side, I want most of this stuff to be light. So I kind of have to, in fact, I'm going to move to my big brush because I need to get some stuff in here to kind of like define this side. So this is more background than bird, more background than bird. But I need to get that in there so that I can keep like the actual bird itself pretty light, if that makes sense. So just kind of swash that around. And then while I'm at it, I'm just going to kind of swash in some more feathery stuff through here. The cool thing about these coffee paintings is you really can't go wrong. So like, you know, you see me just making these quick gestures, these quick marks and stuff with the paintbrush. That's totally cool. You know, like you can do that. And it usually turns out all right. I mean, I guess potentially you can make a big mess. Well, I make a big mess each time, but it's kind of like a controlled mess. So just kind of get some splotches in here so that it's not all nice and neat. Well, early for all the extras and stuff like that, but it's fine. Get some atmosphere going. I wish I had driven 3 hours to see a total eclipse. I think I saw it in '98. It was majestic. Yeah, so like a lot of the country could see a good deal of it. So like no matter where you were in the country, as long as it wasn't like overcast, you probably saw some decent amount. Don't quote me on that. I don't really know. But that whole totality thing, if you get a chance to see that in your life, it's so weird. It's such a weird experience. I mean, it's truly a cosmic event, you know, like I feel like other people kind of like hyped it up more than I ever could. So like I'm not gonna like belabor the point, but it was such a neat, awe-inspiring thing. It's so weird too. It doesn't last very long, the main event. It only lasts like 4 minutes. And like during that 4 minutes, like you can't really think. You're like, oh man, this is so cool. This is awesome and stuff. And then after it's done, you start thinking of all the things that you wish you had done. Like, um, you don't need the special sunglasses during the totality event. Um, like you're not going to go blind without the glasses and stuff. So I kind of wish I had looked through my telescope while that was going on, but I didn't. It didn't occur to me. Um, I was just kind of like stuck on stupid. But it was so cool. It was worth it. It was so it's such a fun thing. Even driving home. So like this isn't cool. I mean, it kind of sucks because of all the traffic and stuff. There were a few accidents and everything, so that's not cool. But we were redirected because of the accidents, so that like we weren't on the interstate, and got to take like a road trip through rural Kentucky. That was really nice. Um, like I had not seen the interior of Kentucky in the way that I did yesterday by the route that it took me. I'm starting to wonder if I like actually put in the route correctly because like it had me going through the woods, like over the river, through the woods, all of that jazz. Like I was going along like creeks. All right, if you guys live in any kind of rural environment, you know the difference between a creek and a river. And there were some creeks in Kentucky, and I got pretty close and intimate with those creeks. That's the route that it took me, just through the woods. I think I heard some banjo play music playing. We only had around 80% coverage here. Ah, well, you know, you take what you can get. It's still kind of cool. I think you know, if I had like a fortune or something like that, I could. So there are some people who go chasing these things and stuff like in other countries and stuff like that. I could see myself doing that. I mean, it's that worth it. It's so cool. I gotta stop saying so cool because like I'm gonna get. It was so cool though. So I don't know. Like the bird's got kind of like this little nostril here. I've never really looked at bird beaks that closely before, but it's kind of neat how this works. So it's got the main beak and then like it's got this little circular bit here. I think I'm gonna tackle the first layer of the eye real quick. Just because I want to get it in there and this part here should be really light above the eye, but then down below a little bit dark is okay. Bring that around. I think that's a good start. Probably need some more detail in there, but I should do more birds. Like this is pretty cool. I like birds. I'm not allowed to have a bird in my house because I have a cat, but I love birds. I just like watching birds. I could watch birds all day. Honestly, if I had a bird feeder like outside my office window, I would never get any work done. I'd be watching birds all day. Sometimes, this is a true story. Sometimes, just as background noise, I'll put on TV for dogs and cats. So, like, if you've never seen this before, Google that sometime. TV for dogs and cats, and it's just like webcams set up to where you know like they've got like a bunch of like I don't know nuts out or something in the woods, and they film birds coming up to eat the nuts, and then maybe like a squirrel will come by, things like that. And that's all it is it's just wildlife coming and eating nuts and stuff like that. And they market it as like TV for dogs and cats and stuff that you would put on while you're at work or something like that. But I watch that and I get so much enjoyment out of watching that. If you're ever just looking for something to play in the background, is like just something, you know, just something to visual interest, like having I don't know, like at Christmas they have those like 8 hour campfire or 8 hour fireplace videos, so that you can turn your TV into like a fireplace. It's kind of like that, but I really enjoy it. It's it's definitely something that kind of like just relaxes and relaxes you and takes your mind off of things like that. It's one of those mindless things. Relentless Mindwork says 35% eclipse in California. I just looked it up. Yeah, I mean, any bit of an eclipse is still cool. I'm telling you though, that totality thing, that is awesome. Yeah, it does look like a hawk. It's a falcon. I don't know exactly what kind of falcon. Apparently there's multiple kinds. Um, just a generic falcon I found on Unsplash. A bird of prey. But yeah, a falcon and a hawk, I don't know the difference between the two. I should go to like vet school just to learn what it is I'm drawing. Because I don't think I'm ever going to stop drawing wildlife pictures or painting wildlife pictures. It's kind of in my blood. I enjoy doing it. A lot of fun. Get kind of a bit of a wing going here. Of course, some of the stuff I'm going to darken in to kind of create some depth to these features. But yeah, so that's what I was doing yesterday. Glad I did it. Later in this week, they have the auction for the bourbon bottles I did, and everybody else's. It's actually up now. I'll go ahead and link to it at some point. But I wanted to go because they have an artist reception Thursday, so I wanted to go there and kind of like get some video for that maybe before I kind of like shared it. The actual online auction is going through to Saturday. So there's still time to kind of go over those bottles and take a look at them and things like that. But I wanted to go and get some video footage. But probably on the Thursday broadcast, we'll probably talk about those because it is pretty cool. Like I still don't know. I still don't know the name of the owl bottle that I did because that one dude named it, and that's the one that they selected to include in the private auction that they're doing. So I still don't know the name of it. I probably won't know until I show up and like meet the other artists and kind of look at all these different things that people have done. But I'm really looking forward to it. That was a fun project. It turned out really nice. Um, like well, probably yeah, probably if you guys wanted to, like, I know that there was some interest in bidding on those bottles. I know that Larry had committed a substantial amount to one of the bottles. The minimum bid on those bottles is $250. I don't know if you guys still want to participate in that, if you guys want to drum up $250 or something like that. But I think the way that that would work is if you guys pledged money, like if you guys send me an email pledging something, then I'll go ahead and take care of it. But also, I don't want you guys to, it was your guys' idea to bid on these bottles. So I don't, again, I don't get anything out of it except for the bottle, I guess, which is just bourbon. So it's kind of up to you guys, but I know you guys expressed interest in that. So just to let you know, that is going on this week, on the online auction. I will post a link to it on Thursday. But if anybody wanted to do what you guys were talking about, where you guys were like wanting to chip in on like getting a bottle, just send me an email and like let me know what you guys had in mind for that. Because I don't want to encourage you guys to like. Okay, all right. So I didn't want to encourage you guys to participate in this if you guys really weren't wanting to do it. It's entirely up to you guys. Again, I don't benefit in any way. I don't get the money or anything like that. It's weird for me to talk about because I don't really know. It's just weird. I don't know. But the bottles themselves, they look really cool. Like there's a number of them where the people really up for donating to get Jeremy's bottle back. Well, I don't need the bottle back. I mean, like all I'll do is drink it. You guys know me. So if you guys really want to buy me some really expensive bourbon, that's entirely up to you guys. I'm just saying that's all it really is. The art, the art, it would be kind of cool if I could repurpose the art somehow. Like if I did get one of these bottles back, like if there was a way that I could pass on the art to some other, um, maybe we could have our own like auction for the bottle or something like that. That would be cool. I'll have to put some thought into that. And see how that goes. But yeah, the auction is this week. Some of the bottles turned out really nice. Like I am not too proud to say that my bottle is not the best. My bottles are not the best. There are some better bottles out. There's one in particular that I thought was really cool, but um, on Thursday, I don't know if it'll be part of Thursday's live stream or if I'll just make like a separate video or something like that, or do a separate live stream. I don't know. Maybe it will be Thursday's live stream. I don't know. But I want to talk about these bottles because they're really cool. I want to show them off. I want to show off like which ones I think are the best, and you know, because like bottle decorating is a fun art. I actually saw that one of the people who was decorating the bottles, like she actually does this for a living. Like she actually, so picture buying a house or going to a wedding or something like that, and you're looking for a gift for like like a welcome gift or something like that. Your first home or something like that. She'll go off and she'll buy a bourbon bottle, and then she'll paint like the house on it, or she'll paint like the family themselves on it or something like that. So like at least one of the people actually professionally does these bottles like all the time. It's kind of a cool concept, but and she's a pretty good artist too. But anyway, I'll talk about those things more probably on Thursday. But I'm just honored to have been a participant. I don't like, and I don't think it's just like being humble or whatever. I think objectively mine's not the best. There's some really good ones, but they're still cool. I can say that nobody else did copy art. Mine's unique. And my dad's is pretty cool too. Nobody did the kind of sculpturing that he did, which is kind of cool. They're alphabetical, like they're listed alphabetically in the auction. So like mine is right beside my dad's. It's so weird. Oh, Larry, we were just talking about the bottle auction thing that's going on. I'm gonna have some more details on that on Thursday because the auction is going on now. They posted it up, so I'm gonna gather some of those pictures together and like do a live stream probably where we can just like talk about all the different ones, see which ones are our favorites and stuff like that. But they have some photos and stuff online now, and like you can go and look at them now. But I'm supposed to go on Thursday to like this kind of artist kind of meetup anyway, so I thought, well, I'll go down there and just see what's up. So anyway, expect that on expect that on Thursday. But yeah, it is kind of cool. And I was talking about how like now that I can see everybody's and stuff, mine is objectively not the best one, but that's okay. Mine is the only coffee art one, which is cool. It'd be interesting to see who all gets bids and how much they go for and stuff like that. The actual party, um, if anybody's in the area and you wanted to go to this party, I can get you a ticket for like 75 bucks or something like that. But it's actually a pretty cool like little shindig. Like basically you go there and you get to drink Maker's Mark bourbon and hang out with all these people. Honestly, I don't really have like the whole social. I don't know what would you call it? Like I don't know what I would do at this party if I went. I would probably stand next to my bottle and try to talk people into buying my bottle or like choosing my bottle. I don't know how to like just hang out with people at these type of social events. Like I wouldn't know what to do except drink bourbon and stand in the corner and say, "Hey, do you like my bottle?" But they are pretty cool. The whole concept is cool. I like how this falcon's turning out. I can already tell that it's going to be pretty cool. Oh, sorry. I did mention I did finish up that raccoon the other day. So this is how the raccoon turned out, by the way. So I'm gonna package this up and send it off to you, kid. I know you've been waiting on it. I think that guy looks pretty cool. What I like about these coffee arts that I've been doing is that they're all pretty consistent. Like they all kind of have a similar style to them, and that's awesome. Because like even if they're not all perfect, as long as they're all kind of consistent, I think they feel like they're all done by the same artist. So that's cool. Which, isn't always the case. You can go back and look at my painted pictures that I've drawn and painted over last year, and they're they're kind of all over the place in terms of like quality and style and things like that. It's nice to have at least one thing that I do that's pretty consistent. And I think these coffee pictures are pretty consistent, so that's good. Thanks, kid. I appreciate that. And Larry, I'm still working on your pups, and I'll get those out to you soon as well. I'm catching up. Been feeling pretty creative lately. All I do is drink, code, and paint pictures. That's not really true, but that's what it feels like sometimes. Honestly, that's one of the perks of yesterday going out to see the eclipse. It was so nice to get out into nature. So I knew that I wanted to travel to where the totality would be, and I knew that that wasn't my backyard. So I knew that like a month in advance that I was going to travel somewhere. But there was a question of like where, and then it occurred to me, you know, just days before the date that weather is going to be a big factor, right? Like you can't predict the weather. You can't, well, you can predict the weather, but not very well. Like you don't know if it's going to be cloudy or not. So I already anticipated like the problems that most of the country had, because a lot of the country was under cloud cover and it kind of sucked. So I had like three places in mind of where I would go. Most of them like were about 3 hours away, but I didn't really know until the day before really which of these places I was going to go. It was either Indiana, Ohio, or like Southern Kentucky, um, Southwestern Kentucky. That was part of the eclipse path. But I didn't know because of clouds which of these would be the best viewing spot. So even the day before, it said it was going to be like partly cloudy, and who knows what that means. But it turned out perfect. It was like the weather was so nice. It wasn't too hot. The cloud cover was fine. I mean, it wasn't completely without clouds, but it was, you know, when it counted, it was perfect. And I don't know, it was just so nice. So the place that I had picked was this state park in Indiana. Sorry, is there an echo in here? So I ended up going to Brown County State Park in Nashville, Indiana. And such a beautiful town. It's like a little tiny small town in Indiana. Indiana itself is just great. Like I don't know if any of you guys are from Indiana, but or have been to Indiana. Such nice people. Beautiful, beautiful countryside. Even driving down the interstate, it was like nice. And when I got into the back roads and stuff like that, it was really nice. The park itself is out in the woods. Like there were some ticks on the ground. That kind of sucked. There were like two ticks crawling on me. That's the only downside. But other than that, it was really nice. And you guys saw in the video, like when the eclipse came through, it was just perfect. Couldn't have asked for any better. Um, I feel kind of bad because I have friends that traveled to like Texas and things like that. Those places were all under like pretty bad cloud cover. So I really lucked out. I think I lucked out because I was planning on doing a road trip instead of like flying. So like if you had flown, you're kind of locked in on a place. But I had backup plans. I had I had at least three different places I could have gone, and I just picked the best of the three. So if you're ever doing eclipse planning, plan to be like flexible. Yeah, I think that's the word. Try to be flexible on where you're actually going, which I guess is kind of hard. Maybe if like you do travel for it, like say you were coming from California or something like that. Yeah, so yeah, Ian, he went down to Texas. A friend of mine, sorry, mutual friend of mine in cabins. Um, he went down to Texas and then oh, so it did part 30 seconds before totality. Oh, awesome, cool. I was so nervous that he was. I didn't even want to ask him because I felt really bad for him if he had traveled that far and stuff and wasn't able to see it. So I know he was really looking forward to it. So that's cool. That makes me happy. Yeah, Ian's a good friend of mine, um, former coworker, known each other for many years. And he went down to Texas to view the eclipse. But yeah, imagine traveling to a whole nother country or something, or like somebody mentioned California. Imagine traveling to Texas or something like that from California, and it's like you put in, you know, thousands of dollars or something into like plane fare and lodging and rental cars and all that stuff, and then when you get there, it's all cloudy. That kind of sucks. But you can't really predict that kind of thing, so it's like you're kind of at you know God's mercy. Um, or at least Mother Nature's. But and then sometimes things just come together and you luck out. So that's what I kind of feel like happened. Just lucked out. So I gotta remove some of this. This is what I really like about using coffee as a medium, right? So like just talking real quick about the art instead of the eclipse. Um, it's such an easy to use medium. So like say I wanted to do some erasing up here because I wanted to redirect some of these paths. I just get it wet and kind of lift it up, kind of mop it up. And then I can move that eye just a little bit because like some of these lines were a little bit thicker than I wanted. So I know it looks weird right now, but I just wanted to move that eye so that I can put in different lines. I love traveling with no plans, start by flipping a coin. I like that too, to be honest. Um, even when I was looking for that treasure chest in the Rocky Mountains, um, I'm sure I put more thought into it than this, but the way I recall it, the reason why I ended up being a New Mexico searcher is because I flipped a coin. Because, like, you don't really know um, whether you should pick Wyoming or you should pick New Mexico. And I just flipped a coin. And apparently it was the wrong decision because, like, it was found in Wyoming. But hey, I stand by it. I had a good time. But I pretty much traveled to New Mexico on a coin flip. But I do like little adventures like that. Like in this case, it was the eclipse. I mentioned, I think, a couple years back, they said that the Northern Lights might be lower down. Now, I live in Kentucky. There's no real reason why I should ever see the Northern Lights around here, but there was a promise, or at least I took it as a promise that the Northern Lights might be as far down as like middle Ohio at least, or some even said like as low as Cincinnati. So I was like, all right, bet I'm gonna go chasing these things, and that was a fun adventure too. I ended up driving all night trying to find the Northern Lights, but apparently that was a bogus story, and it never did come down that low. But that's those are fun adventures, like going chasing the Northern Lights one night just because somebody said it might be in Southern Ohio, and I think I drove like until 5 in the morning trying to find those things. Like I made it at least as far as you guys wouldn't know where this place was, but like just north of Dayton. Well, you guys might know Dayton, Ohio, But yeah, just chasing northern lights, chasing the eclipse and stuff. I mean, these are fun adventures. They're the type of adventures that don't cost anything, and it's like just so much fun, especially if you have some friends with you or family or something like that. Never take the interstate. So I take the interstate sometimes just to make progress, but yeah, I prefer back roads and stuff too. My parents' road trip to Texas from California, and fortunately had clear weather for the eclipse. Then as soon as it was over, it clouded up. That's what I keep hearing. I keep hearing that everybody had these moments where things just worked out and they got to see it. So that's cool. Because it is this like really weird cosmic event, you know. I couldn't help but think, and I'm not the first to mention this, like other people probably said it a lot more eloquently, but I couldn't stop thinking about how what a weird world that we live in where the moon is the exact right size and the exact right distance to be able to block the sun perfectly to create this like ring of light around it. Like if the moon was even slightly bigger or even further away or even closer or something, you wouldn't have what I saw yesterday. And that to me is just amazing. I don't know what that means. I don't know, like, you know, I'm pretty agnostic on most things, so like I have no idea what to make of that. I just know that it wasn't wasted on me, the um the interestingness of that. It's pretty fascinating. So kind of, things like that in life are pretty cool, Again, I don't know to make of these things, but I don't want these things to escape my notice. I want to think about these things and acknowledge these things and celebrate these things. Because that's really all it is. It's just celebrating, I don't know, just celebrating nature and life and all, how weird it is and cool, you know. Like we've all seen pictures of the eclipse. I mean, that's not that's not that special. But when you see it in person, it kind of is. When you see something in person that you've seen on television and it's not filtered through like a lens or like a screen or something like that. Like a lot of people they do live online, right? Like they see pictures of something like an eclipse and it's like, oh, I've seen pictures of that. And it's like it's overrated. I don't need to go and see that thing. I don't need to travel for it or whatever. And it's like, no, you can, you're kind of like kind of selling yourself short by not taking that extra effort. It's worth it. Like even if I had to drive like 10 hours or something, I would have done it just because it's that cool. That's my take on it. Anyway, everybody's probably over the eclipse and stuff, but I thought it was fun. It was it's something I enjoyed. Like I didn't post a lot of pictures and stuff to like Facebook or anything like that, just because I figure most people probably got better pictures than me and things like that. Like all I had was like a cell phone camera and that it kind of just looked like a little tiny dot. So this falcon, he's got like little marks and stuff coming through his chest. It's hard to make that coffee without looking like it's just spilled coffee. Like I want it to look distinctive and everything. So I think the more layers I put in, the better it'll look. But I do like how this guy's turning out. 2044 road trip to Montana is on. Absolutely. We'll be, like I think we'll be young enough, Kevin. Maybe we can make a road trip together. I'd love to see Montana. I hope to see Montana before then. I haven't ever been to Montana. I haven't been to Wyoming either. I would love to go up to Yellowstone. That'd be awesome. But yeah, Montana would be great. Let's see, how old will I be? Let's not worry about how old I would be. I, theoretically, I'll still be alive. I don't know. Depends on how many more martinis I have. I like to class it up with a martini every now and then. I love the taste of like not everybody likes gin, but I like gin. I like it does taste a little medicine-y, so I know why people don't like gin, but to me, the I'll tell you the story of how I had my first martini. So um, I didn't drink a lot of like cocktails back even like 10, 20 years ago and stuff like that. And I had been invited to go to a conference, a web developer conference in San Francisco, and it was at this nice hotel that had a like a like a happy hour cocktail hour. The whole deal was that like you got a free drink, just one free drink. You can have wine, you can have a beer, or you can have a cocktail. And I didn't really know back then, like all of my lightweight alcoholism has started in the last 10 years, I guess. But no, I'm joking, of course. But I didn't know what to order when I went to this happy hour at this hotel. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna stress about this. So like, I did what I always do in these type of situations where I don't really know what to do. I turn to the internet and I look it up, and I'm like, how do you order a cocktail? This is how nerdy I am and how lame I am. I actually went online to learn how to order a cocktail, and you know they were pretty nice and stuff. They told me like, well, when in doubt, just order a classic martini. I'm like, all right, bet I'll order a martini. So the first night I went to and I was there for like a whole week and stuff. So like there's multiple days in this story. So I go there, and oh, it was such a great trip, by the way. Like I went to the conference in San Francisco, but it was my first time in San Francisco, and I love that city. It's such a beautiful world city. Um, like when you're walking around, everybody's speaking a different language and stuff, and it's like right by the ocean. And for people who live on the East Coast, it is so weird. This is such a weird observation. So I'll get back to my drinking story here in a minute, but I want to tell you about my trip to San Francisco. It was such a weird experience for me to be on the West Coast and to be looking north and for the ocean to be on my left side. Okay, I know that sounds weird, but for somebody who's always lived on the East Coast, where if you're looking north, the ocean is always on your right side, it really struck me that I was looking at the Pacific coast, or the Pacific Ocean and stuff. I mean, it struck me that hard that I was out of place. I'm an East Coaster. I should not be on the West Coast. That's how I was thinking at the time. But I love that city. I love how I went there. So my boss thought, well, you're at this conference at this hotel, so you won't need a car, and like, never mind that I have to catch a cab or something to even get to the hotel. He thought, well, you don't need a car and stuff. That's just an extra expense. You like, never mind the fact that he was sending me to a $2,000 conference and putting me up in this nice hotel that was probably an additional $2,000. In his mind, it was an extra excess to get a car, right? But I'm glad he didn't let me get a car, because it forced me to look into public transportation, and I ended up getting this city pass that allowed me like all the buses, the cable cars, the trolley cars, all of that included. It was so awesome. So like, if you ever go to San Francisco, ditch the car. Ditch the car. First off, I don't know how cars work out there anyway. All the hills are like basically vertical. So like, you're probably going through brake pads like once a year. But anyway, ditch all of that, go with public transportation, get yourself a city pass, because like, you get to ride all the trains for free, you get to ride all the cable cars and the trolley cars and stuff, and it's just great. So I spent so much time riding around on public transportation in San Francisco and doing a lot of walking. So like, um I'm in shape now, but I wasn't then. Like, I this was sometime in early 2000, mid 2000s. But like, I had a little bit of weight to me, and I ended up walking like, I don't know, like 14 miles in a day or something. And to me, maybe not in a day. Like 14 miles does sound like a lot, but I did literally walk everywhere in San Francisco, and it was great. I actually walked over the Golden Gate Bridge, um, but I had all these like little missions and stuff like that. I wanted to see the Museum of Modern Art. There was a couple of Banksies there. That's how cool San Francisco is. They have Banksies there, and I wanted to see all of those. So I traveled all around the city looking for all these Banksies that I had heard about were there. And this was early days, so like they had only started adding these things to maps and stuff on Google Earth and everything. But like nowadays, you can probably just get a whole map of those things. But back then, it was a little bit of a scavenger hunt, and I loved it. My time in San Francisco, I was only there for like a week and stuff, but I fell in love with that city. It's such an awesome city, and I like the way I traveled there. But anyway, to get back to my drinking story, this was early days. I didn't know how to order a cocktail, right? So I had to look it up, and the first day I was like, yeah, I'd like a martini and stuff, and they were like, okay, yeah, I'll make you a martini, and they started asking me questions that I didn't know how to answer, and they're like, what kind of gin do you want? And I'm like, I don't know, what do you have? Just throw something in there, and the bartender was nice enough to just like make me something, but I didn't like the experience. So this is my first time ordering a cocktail, and I didn't like because I was always like a wine or beer guy before then. I didn't drink a lot of I didn't drink a lot of liquor, and if I did, it was always straight. So like if I drink bourbon or something, it's just straight bourbon, like which is how I usually drink it on this show. But anyway, so I didn't really know what I was doing. So it was an awkward experience the first day ordering from the bartender. That when I went back there the second day for a happy hour, I was like, man, I'm going to look up exactly how to do this, and I learned exactly how to order um, a martini. The proper way to order a martini is you go in there and you say, I would like a beef eater martini up with an olive. All right. That's how you order it, because that gives the bartender everything that they need to know to make your drink. You told them what brand of gin you want, and the same goes for vodka. I'm a gin guy when it comes to martinis, but you can do this with vodka as well. But you tell them like, I want a beef eater gin martini, and the up with an olive tells them what kind of glass that's like a stem glass, and olive is a garnishment, because it doesn't have to be like a olive. It can be a cocktail onion or something like that. And uh, basically, you're customizing your drink. And I didn't know that there was all this science to it. But ever since I learned how to order a proper martini, it's just great. Like these are things that I think that every guy needs to know. Like you need to know how to make a martini, one, but certainly even if you're not like being a bartender yourself, you need to know how to order a martini. You need to know how to bet on horses, because that's kind of complicated too. Like Kevin knows, when you go to bet on horses and stuff, it's not very straightforward. There's like this weirdness to it where you're making $2 bets, and you're like picking the order, but you're also picking. I don't know. It's just complicated, especially when you get into like exotic bets and stuff like that. It gets really crazy. These are things that people need to know. It's just, yeah, dirty martini. There you go. Yeah. So like you need to be able to tell the bartender exactly how to make your dirty martini. So that was my first experience with the martini, and I love it. Like ever since then, I've just been into like classic martinis. As soon as I got home, I learned how to make them myself, and the rest is history. Now I've expanded since then into like other cocktails, and I've kind of become a snob on like old fashions, on the proper way to make old fashions. I become a bit of a snob on how to make a classic martini, like. Like it's okay to drink a vodka martini. There's nothing wrong with that. Like James Bond does it and stuff like that. But I am a bit of a snob. I will like criticize you a little bit for not going with the classic martini. But that's just me. To each their own. I'm not going to beat you up too much. It's one of those like little Like, oh, you like a vodka martini? It doesn't mean anything. It's just me being an asshole, really. Yeah, MJ, straight liquor is really the best. If you don't like the taste of straight liquor, like you need all of those extra things and stuff in your glass, just drink something else, Like if you don't like I feel the same way about coffee. Like if you, because I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to coffee as well. Um, if you don't like the taste of coffee and you feel like you have to hide it with all of this sugar and syrups and things like that, just order something. Order a milkshake. Like don't order coffee unless you actually like the taste of coffee. That's how I feel about it, and I do. I love the taste of coffee. Purple Passion. Jeremy ordering a proper drink might be different from drinking Mad Dog 2020 or I have in my time, like when I was younger, I didn't care what I drank. And I have drunken. I have drank a Mad Dog or two. It's kind of funny. My dad's first off, my older brother actually makes wine. He has a place in town where he actually makes wine proper. In fact, he's one of the few people in town who make what's called a pet nat, which is like a kind of like a bubbly wine. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I'm not an expert on it, but anyway, he makes wine. So he got my dad into making wine, and my dad. I feel like I'm always picking on my dad on this show, but I'm gonna pick on him again. My dad tries to make wine, and he likes it really sweet, and he likes it really fruity, kind of like Mad Dog. And basically, that's what he makes. Whenever he makes wine, it comes out tasting like Mad Dog. So not only have I had my share of Mad Dog, whenever my dad makes his, and I have drank some of my dad's wine here on this show. By the way, I've had that in a glass. It's basically Mad Dog, but it's actually good. Like if you like a sweet, like really sweet, wet kind of wine. Um, Basically, it's like fruit juice. It's kind of like that. It's not bad. We have a bourbon distillery near us, and we have the best bourbon slushies. Oh, bourbon slushies. That sounds great. I can get behind that. I'm going to try to define the swing a little bit by putting in some darker things. I keep forgetting to talk about the art. Like, you guys get me on, like, all these other subjects and stuff like that. I can't blame you guys. It's actually my fault. But I got to remember to talk about the picture I'm drawing every now and then. But to find this wing here, I think this falcon's looking really good. Some of this I have to wait for it to dry to put in those darker layers that we always end up putting in these things. But I'm liking this guy. He almost, so he's a falcon, but he kind of looks like an eagle because the color, it's a monochromatic picture. So it's really hard to see what colors are involved in this guy to separate him from being an eagle. To me, he kind of looks like an eagle here, but he's not intended to be an eagle. Bourbon slushies, those are great. Um, I don't know if you guys have ever had like bourbon balls. Those are really good. It's kind of a candy, like chocolate candy that are made with bourbon. Bourbon goes good with any kind of sweet stuff. So like bourbon goes good with any kind of chocolates. It goes good in syrup. So like if you ever have like pancakes or something. Bill Gorman says I am blocked. You're not blocked, buddy. You're here. I can see you. I think everybody else can see you. Because Kim and I tilt back and Natty. Oh, I love Natty Daddy. That is my go-to beer. I love Natty Daddy. Anyway, yeah, so bourbon goes good with all kinds of like sweet stuff. So like chocolate's a good one. Syrup. basically anything. Sweet. It goes well with. Why my first chat I posted vanished? Um, I don't know, Bill. I'm the only one with mod capabilities here. I think, unless I have like one or two other mods, but they're not here. Maybe they're lurking. But anyway, my hands are not me. I didn't delete your stuff. I reserve the right to, like Bill. You know, you get kind of crazy now and then, but no, I haven't. You are not being blocked in any way, shape, or form. We like Bill Gorman here. Um, I don't know what happened to your first post. Wasn't me. But no, I mean we're pretty loose here. Like I don't I don't delete anybody's posts unless they're like I don't know. I try to keep it kid friendly here, just because there are some people of younger ages that come in to watch to learn how to draw. Like keep it PG-13, I guess. But I haven't seen anybody post anything that I would even consider like PG like 5. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody post anything questionable like in quite some time, which is good. That's not to give you guys ideas and go off and come up with stuff. I like this bird. This is my fourth post. Let's see. I see three of your posts. I don't know what happened to your first one, Bill. I only mentioned my email name. Um, I'd have to look at the I'd have to look at the auto mod settings. I don't know if I'm blocking things like emails or links or something like that. That might be the case. It's unintentional, but I don't know if it's blocking Wabi Eagle. No, that's showing up. I don't know if it's auto blocking certain things. I basically have not looked at those settings since I first started the show. Anyway, it's all unintentional. You're good, Bill. If there's something you need posted, just feel free to shoot me an email or something like that. This guy's looking pretty good. How we doing on time? Oh, we're only at an hour. Cool. I can probably get some details in here. Although, doing all right on details. Let me move this guy back over here. I think he looks cool. I don't know if Mama Q's in here, but she was nice enough. She sent me some, I don't know if I have them. Yeah. She sent me some little tiny canvases for Geppetto to paint on. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Geppetto paint in a cool little easel for these things to go on as well. So she sent me those. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Geppetto paint a self-portrait. So it's not going to be me painting um, the picture of Geppetto. It's going to be Geppetto painting Geppetto. So I don't know if Mama Q's still in here, but that's what I plan on doing with Geppetto. I'm going to move him back over here. He's actually in the way. So I think that's pretty cool. Um, I like to give a shout out whenever somebody does something nice for me. Like I don't deserve it. You guys are super nice. I appreciate it. So Mama Q sent me some of those little canvases and stuff. I think I'm gonna put them to good use. And a couple of you other guys and stuff. Yeah, you've been very generous with funding some of my art supplies. That's awesome. I honestly, I would love to get to the point where I don't know. It's kind of tough, but one of these days, hopefully, like YouTube might fund some of this stuff. That would be awesome. Thinking like, getting that partner program at some point. I don't know. dreams, right? I would love, honestly, it is my goal in life. It would be very cool if I'm just drawing people's pets and stuff, like just doing commissions and stuff for free. That's my ultimate goal. I mean, I'd still do things like this. This isn't anything anybody wanted or needed or anything like that, but it's just stuff that I want to paint and draw. But I would love to be able to just do people's pets. Hmm. I like his eyes, but I definitely want some areas to be really super dark. So let me get some of that syrupy stuff going. So that like the darker it is, the more it's going to stand out. If I can get some syrupy stuff going. Get some of this water off of this. But that eclipse thing, that was pretty cool. I'm trying to think like what's the next big thing that I'm looking forward to. Because like it seems like everything's taking place this week. So we had the eclipse this week, got the bourbon bottle auction going on this week. I think I need to go kayaking soon. You looking to source a rocking chair for Geppetto? So I do have this chair. He's got this one. It's not a rocking chair, but like a little dollhouse chair, I think. So he's got that. I feel like I'm playing with dolls here and stuff. Like, how old am I? Hey, like, I was playing with GI Joes up until I was like 16 or something like that. I am not ashamed to admit it. So me playing with dolls and stuff on this show is not that surprising. He's not a doll though. He's a real boy. He's a real he's a co-pilot. Bill says, I sent you pictures of Jack and Jill, Red Merle, and Blue Merle, mini Aussies. Awesome. Yeah, at some point, um, I got to go through my emails and see what pictures people have sent me to draw that I haven't gotten around to. I know there's a couple, but they might be buried in my emails. I need to finish up Larry's dogs, which I started like 2 weeks ago and I haven't finished. I just got finished with the coffee painting I was doing of a raccoon, and those usually take just a little bit of time. The problem is if I don't finish it all during the live stream and stuff, it's tough to get back to the next day. But I think I'm on track again. I want to get back into like productivity mode where I'm being pretty consistent and getting these things done. Because I feel like that's the hallmark of a professional artist, right? Is like that you're not just able to create art, but you're able to create art consistently and on a reasonable time schedule. That's what makes a professional artist, I think. Um, Although I did get paid for those bourbon bottles, and I got a check, and I think I'm going to frame that check. That's going to be cool because that is definitely like that means I'm a professional artist now because like that organization paid me money. Can someone source a Lady J for I don't even know where you could get like a Lady J action figure. Um, my things were always the ninjas. So like I had a Storm Shadow somewhere, and I don't know whatever happened to that guy. I looked up what that Storm Shadow would be worth nowadays is a lot of money. And thing is, I think I buried Storm Shadow. So I used to do like all kinds of crazy stuff with my GI Joes. The problem is I saw so many different movies and stuff growing up, but I had like a limited amount of toys. So like my toys kind of had to serve multiple purposes. So I had GI Joes, but even though I had GI Joes, I had to like play like they were in Star Wars, right? So I would take my GI Joes and I would freeze them in the freezer in like a Tupperware cup, so that they were frozen in carbonite, like like from Star Wars. So that like I used to torture the crap out of my GI Joes. We uh, we used to shoot at them with BB guns. Um, I think you know how like they had that little rubber band inside that you can pull them apart, and they had that little rubber band inside. We would shove firecrackers in between those rubber bands um, to try to blow them up. Like, you know that kid in Toy Story that would torture his toys and stuff? That was pretty much us. You know, like if toys had like come to life at some point, like they do in Toy Story, we're in trouble, or I'm in trouble at least. And by we, I mean my brothers and stuff did these things as well. But we would torture the crap out of those GI Joes. It's so much fun though. Hey, haters in the house. How's it going? Bill Gorman says I became a professional when my name was on an art show poster in the blowback gallery last year. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. Yeah, it's nice to get recognition like that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Bill Gorman is definitely one of the more creative folks out there. I've seen some of his videos. He's a creative dude. A lot of imagination. I think I need to let his eye dry a little bit. It's whenever I go to add stuff, it's still kind of wet, so it's kind of becoming a little bit blotted. So I need to. That's one of the tips is like as you're applying these layers, like you need to let them dry a bit before you come in and add, you know, detail or something like that, because otherwise it's going to blot out. And if that's what you're going for, like some of these areas, it's fine to be blotted, but if you're going for some of the detail in the feathers and stuff like that, I gotta let it dry a little bit. I like this guy. For some reason, I just want to go caw caw, which I should not do. I think one of my good good qualities as a YouTuber is I have no problem embarrassing myself. I'm over it. My very first broadcast, I think I was like trying to be, I don't know, not embarrassing, but I don't care. I have nobody I'm trying to impress. If I come off as if I embarrass myself, I really don't care. So, caw is what this bird says. You know, he's definitely a like a bird of prey, but he's got surprisingly like a warm kind of expression, which is now that I'm looking at the reference photo, it's not that different from the reference photo. Like he doesn't look as vicious as like you would think he would be as a bird of prey. I mean, I wouldn't want to be like a mouse around this guy. That's probably not going to end well, but he doesn't look like if you had one of those like arm guards or something that falconeers, is that what they're called? Falconeers? Um, whatever they have, those bird people. Um, he looks like he would be like a fun companion. Like he would just sit on your arm and laugh at your jokes, as birds do. I don't know. That'd be more like a parrot. Kitty hawk. There you go. Mostly red-tailed hawks. Again, I'm not. I should have probably looked up what kind of hawk this was, or like falcon this was. I mean, it just said falcon. It could be a hawk for all I know. I don't really know. I wish I knew more about the animals that I draw. I feel like I say that every week too. I feel like I'm not learning my lessons here. But, this guy looks pretty cool. So there are some dark areas that I need to get in his body. Like over here, it needs to be a little bit darker. And to get darker, you just need drier coffee. You just need to get at the pieces that are not that wet. And then you can get these little darker areas. And I think that looks really cool because it kind of creates some depth in the breast of the bird. And it doesn't have to be too super detailed. I mention this all the time and stuff, but when you get into some of these areas, it's meant to be abstract and not like heavily detailed. You just want kind of like suggestions of fur and wings. Like I'm not drawing an entire wing, but if I put in like a little dark line here and stuff, you get like the suggestion of a back wing, not bad wing. I want to splotch it through here. I want, there you go. I want just a bunch of dots. I want a line. There you go. That looks cool. I like that. Anyway, you can be like super free and just kind of like I don't know. There's there's a thing they like I don't know why I know this, but like back in the day, like in the 1960s and stuff, they were doing research on like psychic abilities and like different states of consciousness and things like that. And one of the things I remember reading about, I think this was like in one of those Time Life books or something like that. I don't know. I've got a bunch of books on weird topics and stuff like that back there on the shelf. But one of the things I remember them talking about was something called automatic writing, and that is where somebody sits down with a pen and they just kind of like zone out and they just kind of like go into like this trance state and they let like I don't know. It's obviously debatable, like what takes over, whether it's their own subconscious, whether it's like a ghost, or whether it's like a spirit or something like that. But anyway, in automatic writing, something takes over, whether it's their own subconscious, and they just start writing, and they, sometimes it's drawing or something like that, like automatic drawing and stuff like that. That's what I like to think of when I'm doing these pictures, these these like loose free pictures and stuff like that. I just like let the brush take over and just let it do what it wants to do. And I know it's not exactly automatic writing, but in my mind that's what I'm doing. I'm just like letting something take over and do these marks. Because like I don't know, I am often surprised at the result that comes out of it. So it's almost like disassociating myself from my own art where I'm like, well, I didn't do that. I mean, something else, maybe my subconscious or something like that, did a did this beautiful picture. If it turns out pretty, if it turns out terrible, like I take complete ownership of that. Like, oh man, I suck at drawing. It sucks. But all birds of prey are pretty much protected, like like by the government or something like that, like or like by laws. And I know that you shouldn't go hunting these type of birds. Or I don't know that actually. I'm pretty sure you shouldn't. I'm not sure if you're not allowed to. I like that. That looks really good. Need a couple more dark areas. These dark areas, they're just added to create depth. So you get a couple of different layers of I was going to say a couple little layers of birding in here. I meant feathers. Get some birding up in here, like a little birding detail. Oh, he's a little bald there. Let's get some birding up in there. Like these guys. Protected by law. Gotcha. That makes sense. They're probably rare. I don't see a lot of these birds. Um, I did see a bald eagle once. I don't know if I mentioned that before. I probably did when I drew a bald eagle. I need to revisit that bald eagle. I'm not very proud of it. I drew it like on the 4th of July. It wasn't all that great. Um, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I saw a bald eagle once. I was kayaking and it was up in a tree and definitely didn't expect to see it, but there it was. I mean, that's almost as cool as seeing an eclipse, like because bald eagles, I don't know, when I was younger and stuff, they were super endangered. There wasn't that many of them around. So I feel like those guys are getting a resurgence, which is awesome. I don't know what drove them out. Like it seems like, I mean, they're not like, I don't know, like I don't even know if I'm using the right term, apex predators, but they are predators and stuff. I don't know why they're, I mean, obviously humans and stuff like that, but it's not like, I mean, who goes hunting bald eagles? It doesn't seem like it's not like they're on the menu or anything. I don't know. Is that a thing that people do? Do they hunt bald eagles? It's kind of weird. To keep the rodent population in check. Makes sense. Those little field mice out there. It is pretty fascinating. Like if you guys ever see like I don't know, just go to school or whatever, but also documentaries and stuff on how these guys can spot a field mouse basically a mile up in the air. I don't know, making up numbers and stuff, but it's kind of like that. They can see a field mouse in a field, and just like swoop down and snatch it up. These guys are pretty amazing. There are bald eagles here all over the place in the winter. Awesome. Because I really do think that like that's something just in my lifetime that they've come back, you know. Because I remember because I've always lived in rural areas like my entire life. Even when I was in metropolitan areas, it was always close to rural areas. So like um, I lived outside of Atlanta for like when I was a kid and stuff, but also we went traveling up into the mountains and things like that. So everywhere I went, I was still around nature, and I don't remember in all that time ever seeing a bald eagle, even though they should be everywhere, you know. So I do feel like those made a comeback in my lifetime. I don't feel like those were. I feel like those were endangered and pretty far gone. And I don't know what we did to like get them to come back. You know, by come back, I don't know. I really mean just like live. It's not like they took a trip somewhere. I don't know. I don't know what sort of conservation efforts there were there, but that's good news because there are some things that are disappearing. You know, things that we'll never see again, and it kind of sucks. I don't have any kids, but like again, I do have some nieces and nephews and stuff that I would like them to be able to see some of the stuff that I talk about whenever I talk about my experiences when I was a kid. Um, when I say like, yeah, we used to go out and see birds and stuff like that. I would like them to be able to go out and see birds. I don't know what I'm saying, but you get the idea. Like falcons and stuff like that. I don't want to ever have to mention something that expired or whatever. There's a few eagles that live out at Jacobson Park. Oh, that's pretty cool because that's pretty populous out there too. Like the only eagle I ever saw was you would know where this is, Cabin. Out in Frankfurt, um, Elkhorn Creek. I was out kayaking on that and saw them out there. I've never seen them. Jacobson Park. That seemed pretty. A lot of people out there. So that's a little bit surprising to me, but that's cool. That's great. I was wanting to do a picture inspired by the eclipse, but I couldn't think of anything. Like, what would that just be? Like a circle, like a black circle on a black paper? Like, oh, done. Or like I could get my black paper and just draw like a ring in white. Maybe add a little bit of color to it. I don't know. It's kind of hard to process things like that. Like it was such a big thing, and it's probably like not one of those things that's going to like stick with me, even though it should. It's one of those odd things where you feel like something should stick with you, and you just know that probably in a month from now it's not going to matter. That's the world we live in nowadays, where something something's important for a month. It's a weird world. Maybe it's just being an adult. I don't know. Because you get distracted by other things. Like, gotta make your, you know, mortgage payment. That's a little more important than an eclipse, right? I love this guy. I still need to tinker with his eyes. So Ernest Parnell, whoever that guy is, says that there were some along the Ohio River near Higginsport, Ohio. That's pretty cool. I do feel like they are making a comeback though. I don't remember seeing so many. All right. See, still not happy with that eye, so I'm going to do some reverse work here. So of his bottles, the the one that they accepted for the big shindig was the one of the Maker's Mark Distillery, which is kind of cool. Like I actually think that that was a good choice on their part. That's my favorite one. So that's the one that they accepted for the big one, where people pay like $300 a ticket. That's the big fundraiser they're doing. Um, and then his other one, Sipping Bourbon and stuff, is the one that's up for public auction. And then of mine, the one that they accepted, which is kind of inspired this picture that I'm doing now, the one that they accepted for the big shindig was the owl. And the deer one is the one that they put up for public auction. It is kind of weird to see mine in the bunch. So like we'll go over this Thursday, but I'll be showing them off. Like all the other ones are painted in like these really bright colors and stuff like that. Mine's done in like let that dry a little bit before I mess with that eye. Because I really need to get that dark. Anyway, I'll mess with that eye here in a bit. He goes by Ernie most of the time anyway. He's just an Ernie. Ernest is his formal name. Oh, the funny thing about my dad from this week is I got a text. I got a text from somebody who asked me if he was at the store, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, he might have gone to the store, um, but I was like, why? And they were like, well, I recognize your dad from the Old Man Logan photos. So I'm not sure I told this story, but so I go to Comic Con a lot, right? I'm a big old nerd. Um, but one year I thought, hey, I'm going to take my dad to Comic Con. I love my dad, by the way. Like we go to all kinds of places together. So I was like, I'm going to take my dad to Comic Con, and I'm like, I'm going to dress my dad up as a comic book guy, and I'm going to take him to Comic Con, and that's what I did. So what I dressed him up as though is we decked him out in Wolverine claws, slicked his hair back, cut his beard to look like Old Man Logan. Now, you guys may have seen the Logan movie with Hugh Jackman and stuff. That's not comic book accurate. He just looks like an older Wolverine in that one. But in the comic books, the the Old Man Logan that we turned my dad into was spot on. It looked perfect. In fact, when we took him to Comic Con and he was walking around, people recognized exactly what he was supposed to be. Like people would come up to him and to get photos with him and stuff like Old Man Logan, hey, and everything. So anyway, my friend who saw him in the store the other day was like, "Is your dad at Kroger?" And I'm like, "I don't know, maybe." It's like I recognize him from the Old Man Logan photos. So like apparently that's where he's famous from. He's famous from his Old Man Logan photos. I'm gonna have to share those, by the way. They're very interesting. But yeah, dressed him up as Old Man Logan. I actually put those pictures on Reddit, and like that was the first time anything that I did went viral. Like my photos of my dad as Old Man Logan. I think he ended up with a couple of 100,000 uh, like upvotes on that. It's pretty cool. But the Old Man Logan from the comic books and stuff, literally an old man. Um, and my dad looked the part. He had kind of like a bomber jacket, got the claws and everything. Pretty good. Oh, the best part is when he ran into a person playing a younger Logan or Wolverine or whatever. Um, this kid must have been, I don't know, maybe 16 or something like that. And they got a photo together, and it was just really cool to see like the younger Wolverine with the older one. My older brother had Bert and Ernie. It's amazing Sesame Street is still around and has new life too. I think it's still really popular on HBO now or Max or whatever they're calling it. This guy looks pretty cool. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're so good. Make sure we keep it in the 2 hours. Let's try it. Yeah, almost. Try to get a little bit of the syrupy stuff up in there. So when you want these dark areas, you just kind of dab at it. It's almost like stipple art. But this is probably still too wet to really get it the way I want it to. But it is just like stipple art. And then kind of wanted to round this out a little bit. Yeah, we'll get that guy going. MF had a big bird. Yeah, this guy's looking pretty good. I need to give this guy a name. Usually, whenever I'm painting something, I give the guy a name. The funny thing is, if there wasn't a Larry in here, the first name that came to mind is actually Larry, like Eagle-eyed Larry for this bird. But we can give him a different name, like I don't know. We use Fred for something for the dog I did recently. I don't know what's a good name for this bird. I'm glad I did a bird. I was debating doing a bird or a fish. I think the bird looks better. I was going to do a brown trout, which is cool. You know, I think there's some visual interesting things in the brown trout. I was going to do a brown trout mostly because he has those like, spots and stuff like that. He's basically like, I don't know, the leopard or the leopard of a fish. But the bird went out. I really want to learn how to paint birds because they are cool. I like birds. I don't do any fishing myself, so I can't really connect with them. And I think that's kind of important. I mean, I'll eventually do a fish. I want to do some sort of fish jumping out of the water, but I don't know. I'm just not into fish as much as I am into birds. Birds are cool. I think when I was in high school, I got to dissect. What do they call it? Got to dissect whatever it is that like an owl coughs up after it eats. Like when it eats a mouse or something, it'll cough up this like ball of like bones and everything. I don't remember what that was called, but I don't know if it's really dissecting. I think they called it dissecting, but it's more like excavating. You're like trying to get the bones out of it. Bill Gorman says, hard to find rainbow coffee. Oh, the colors? That's one of the things I like about coffee paintings, the monochromatic nature of it. And not just the monochromatic nature of it, the brown. I really like that I like this color. I like this color brown. It's almost like a sepia tone to it. I like that you're basically staining the paper. And you could probably do that with watercolor as well, but I just like I like everything about painting in coffee. Francine, I like that. Or Frankie. Francine or Frankie, depending on whatever gender he goes by. Francis. Yeah, these are good names. I like it. Does look like a Francis or Francine. I'm gonna say Francis just because Francine's a little harder to say or to remember. But I like it. Good call. Good naming. All right. Trying to think, little splotches and stuff. I want to make sure that I get these guys in here, but I don't just want it. I don't want these splotches to just be in here for style effect. I want them to kind of like serve the purpose of something. So, as a bird starts to become more of a suggestion of a bird, that's where I kind of want to dissolve it a little bit with these splotches. So I don't want to just put these things in here to be cool or whatever. I want them to kind of like serve some purpose. Then there were some bigger ones over here. Okay, there you go. So some of these bigger ones are going to dry a little bit different. And that's kind of cool. Let me move you over here for a moment, Geppetto. Get some gravity effects here. So to me, this is fun. Just getting like little beads and stuff going. I like that because, I mean, it's not really a signature per se, but it does kind of lend to the. I want people to realize that this is made with coffee. So like some of these effects and stuff help sell that. Call him Barry. Barry the bird. Blend some of that. It's a mighty fine chicken there. Caw. It's more like a burger. Burger. That probably sounds super annoying over the internet, so I'm just gonna like remind myself not to make noises, weird noises for no reason. But my dogs like it. They're zonked out. You know, it's so weird because like last week they were so annoyingly awake, and they'll probably be that way on Thursday too. They're like they're either running 500 miles per hour or they're like zonked out. Silly dogs. All right. Well, we probably are getting kind of close to an endpoint on this. I don't want to overwork it. There are some features and details and stuff that I want to put in, but it probably needs to wait until it is dry. Like I put in things like rings and so on. Actually, I can go ahead and do that now. Actually, go ahead and do that. Where would I put a ring on this? I don't want to put like a really dark one. Let me put in like a light one kind of right there. There you go. I like that. And then probably I'll put, after I kind of get some of this a little bit darker, I'll probably put another one over there. Actually, let me go and get that one started. Right there is probably a good one for that. Now I'll kind of work around that. I always like doing this. That's why you never see crows dead on the highway. We have some buzzards around here, like nasty little buzzards. Like these guys, they don't share the road either. They when they see roadkill, they'll go out there and they'll just like claim it and like just stay there. They don't care what kind of cars coming by or whatever. And I like to go bike riding too. If I ever met one of these buzzards on a bike, I'm pretty sure the buzzard would win. There we go. Now I can get these darker. Car. Ah, that's a good one. That's usually Mama Q's the pun. Um, she usually does the puns. Appreciate you representing. Car. Looks pretty cool. All right, I'm pretty happy with this bird. Yeah, so I think once it dries, I can probably get some additional dark layers and stuff. But for the most part, I think this guy is probably done for the night. Um, I think it turned out pretty good. So what do you guys think? Does it look like a falcon? If you guys are happy with it, I'm happy with it. Good, a good addition to the collection. Collection's getting pretty big. Um, I coffee shop. That's still the ultimate goal here. Um, but I think I got a pretty good collection, and the coffee shop doesn't have like a ton of space anyway. So I might actually have enough to fill the some of these I've been giving away, like the raccoon, the the original deer, the owl. They're no longer part of the collection and stuff like that, but they're still part of the digital collection or portfolio or gallery or whatever you want to call it. Um, so that's kind of cool. They're all like representations of my work. In fact, I like this kind of style so much that I kind of want to branch out and do other things besides just the wildlife. I want to try doing a dog in this style. I think it'll probably turn out good considering how the wolf turned out. But um, yeah, this guy looks pretty cool. I do think that once it dries, I can add a little bit more detail. This is a good start, but some of these areas are just not enough contrast and everything. But thanks, kid. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I think this is probably pretty good as a good start. Once it dries, maybe add a few more areas that can pull up overnight. But once it dries, I'll come back and revisit it and see what areas need to be touched up. Some of this fur off up here. But in the meantime, it's pretty done for the night. Yeah. All right. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Again, on Thursday, I'll be back. This guy does look pretty cool now that I see it. Like I'm looking at the screen right now and seeing what you guys seen. That's a pretty good bird. I like it. I like how he's again, he's got that intense look, but it's also a soft kind of look. Like he could be he's a stern uncle or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, let's see. Jack is a red merle and he's perfect colors for coffee except his blueberry eyes. Maybe I can do a dog in coffee and then do like some blue eyes in watercolor or something like that. That would be kind of interesting, combining coffee with watercolor. Technically, it should work. Like, there's no real reason why it wouldn't work. I'll have to experiment with that sometime. But anyway, so this is Falcon and Coffee. I'll be back on Thursday. We'll talk about those bourbon bottles. Again, they've got some photos and stuff online, so I'll share those. The Thursday evening will be after I go down there and visit with the other artists and stuff. So maybe I can take some pictures then as well. So anyway, in the meantime, hopefully you guys have a good week. And let me go back to just me. There we go. Hopefully you guys have a great week. Tuesday is just the start of the week. It can go any way you want. Hopefully you guys make a great week out of it. It started off with the eclipse. Who knows where it's going to go? Anyway, let me let you guys go. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. You guys are awesome. See you guys Thursday. Bye. Have a good one.